Well, technology can play games sometimes, but yeah, we are here, we are patient, and we will be here to see through this live. Well, where are you tuned in from, guys? Welcome aboard. Well, let me know where you are. Sorry about that, glitch. I skipped off. I don't know why, really, but well, it happens when you've got so many softwares going on. The hassle of trying to go live and giving to you all this Manchester United talk. But let's get into it, guys. First of all, I do want to know where you are, how you're feeling about Man United now. We are looking good as it is. I told you about the awards we are winning. We are the best of November in terms of goals, in terms of manager, in terms of players. Harry Maguire, Alejandro Garnacho, and the boss Eric Ten Hag winning the November gongs for best coach, best player, and best goal of the month. Now, this for me is a very good thing. And by the way, I've been studying the English Premier League log critically, and I could get it and give it to you here. I've been trying to study it critically, thinking actually Manchester United has still got every push for one of the top two places because I don't think the teams above us are that good, far ahead of. I don't think so. I also don't think we have got the worst team. I think with the emergence of Kobe Maino and what we are seeing now, what Jan Amrabat coming, I think this Manchester United, we are young into the season, and I was saying this from the start of the season that the beauty about United is that we've struggled at the start of the season. That means that we can only get better, and it's still early. We have not even gotten into the next year. My feeling is we can actually go on and compete. Maybe not win it, but we can compete and give teams a serious run for their money. I think we can strongly do that. So I strongly believe that Manchester United has still got a very good chance to compete for the title, given the performances we are beginning to put on. If we keep improving, Kobe Maino comes in, partners with Sofian Amrabat, and these are the changes I expect Eric Ten Hag to make tomorrow. I expect Kobe Maino to start together with Sofian Amrabat, and I think United can compete. We can give teams like Arsenal, teams like, because Spurs is already off the pace, they are dropping off. Newcastle can be beaten. I believe we can't disposition them. Never mind them beating us. I do think they are not far ahead of us. If we work on ourselves, I actually think Manchester can compete for a place among the top three. I still think we've got a good chance. The rest of the teams that are ahead of us, most of them are just beginning to struggle. Most of them are just beginning to suffer the injuries we've been suffering, and it will happen to all clubs. So my feeling is becoming good that even with all these injuries, our players are winning player of the month. Our manager is winning manager of the month. We are winning goal of the month. This just brings confidence to each and everyone in the team. And for me, this is what I thought has been lacking. Our players have been lacking confidence to come out there and bully teams we should be bullying. That's the confidence we've been lacking. And with awards like this coming to United, I think for me, it's a good thing, and it only means we can only build on this and get better. That's exactly what Eric Ten Hag has got to do. But let's talk about that game, sort of preview the game, because the training looked good today because certain bodies did return. Ahmad Diallo being one of those. We also know that for those of you who don't want to see Marcus Rashford in the team, maybe you've been, I think, subbed a good thing because it seems he won't be available for the game against Bournemouth. Apparently, he did not train well because of an illness. So Marcus Rashford, I think, has made it easy for Eric Ten Hag to do away with him because obviously not so many people have been so excited about Rashford and his performances. So it is said he has got a bit of an illness, but on a bigger, broader perspective, talking about Marcus Rashford, I think Rashford, like many other Man United players who are struggling, has got to learn a thing or two from Harry Maguire. And probably Harry Maguire should be the case study of all football, probably globally, in terms of how he was able to to get himself up after suffering such a demeaning experience in his career. A guy who at one point was actually wearing the armband for England, a guy who was Manchester United captain, a guy who made records at United when he joined, going so many games consecutively without conceding a goal. He kept, I think, over 13 clean sheets at some point. From that, to becoming the joke of town, the joke of the Premier League, and people calling for him to leave. West Ham wanted him, and he said he's not leaving. He wants to stand fight, and everyone was attacking him. You want to give him credit for that. I don't think we've seen such a transformation from a single player probably in the longest time in football. Usually, when players go down that train, when players lose it, they go for good. More so if you're not a very young player, because Harry Maguire is not a young player. I think he's 30 and above. He's over 30. So for a player in the evening of their career to have the character to go on and fight and try to get back into the team the way he did, you want to give him so much credit. And for me, Harry Maguire, whatever happens, and I don't think he's ever going to go back to making the howlers he was making. I think his confidence will be back, and he will actually be a better footballer. We are yet to see the best of him, because now the psyche is on, he's motivated, he has been humiliated. What's the worst that can happen to him? So keeping your head high. I think the story of Harry Maguire is a life lesson for all of us, that the bad times will come, they will hit, but how you keep your head high and manage to get yourself up, pick yourself up, and again come and play at the topmost level, for me, is something hitherto unseen. And I give huge credit to Harry Maguire, what he has done, but also to the manager Eric Ten Hag. You've got all these injuries, people scrutinizing you. Our team was playing without patterns, where we are not putting on decent performances, we are playing poorly, but somehow we are winning games. And he was still able to come out there every day in press conferences and defend his players, defend what he's doing, believe in his players, and scold certain players who are not performing, punish some players from the team, and still it has worked for him, because as we speak now, he's the best manager of the month. So all this, for me, points to one thing, that Manchester United, like Eric Ten Hag has been saying, we are moving in the right direction. And all these awards, what these awards do is they bring confidence in the team, but also in the fans, because we all now believe in what's happening. So there's a whole lot of positivity around Manchester that you want to be a part of. You love to see it. You only wait to see how we capitalize on it. Now, speaking of capitalizing on it, the next task is against Bournemouth. And Eric Ten Hag, in his pre-match press conference, of course, was asked a lot of questions about Bournemouth. And, he was talking about how good he thinks they are, how decent they look, how, organized the team they are. They are lying 15th on the pile. Man United is 6th. We are certainly way far ahead of them. We've got every right to think we should be beating them easily, but there haven't been any easy games for Manchester United, and there are never any easy games in the Premier League. My thinking, though, is that this should be one game we should be winning with more application. The areas we needed to improve in the last games were clear. The way we defend when we don't have the ball, clearly now when it comes to the attack, we are good. We are building our patterns. We are building our goals. We are creating chances. We created so many chances against Chelsea. We dominated possession against Chelsea. We were in control of the game against Chelsea. Even when they had their moments, we are never shaken, which we'll have to see. But we clearly see we've got a problem in the middle. When Kobe Maino is not playing, even when he's playing, he struggles if he's left alone to play in the holding midfield department himself. So with Amrabat playing the way he played in the last game, Scott McTominay also scoring the goals he's scoring, and Eric Ten Hag said he saw it even in training the first time he saw him, that Scott McTominay has got this goal scoring instinct, and he's this eye for a goal that you don't see often in a player who is not a striker. And I feel like Eric Ten Hag now has got a good problem on himself, because if you've got Scott McTominay there, Bruno Fernandes, your captain, has certainly got to be starting games. Kobe Maino, Sofiane Amrabat playing probably his best game against Chelsea, the way he was playing, then the decision for Eric Ten Hag then becomes difficult on who to leave out in the middle. Is he going to perhaps bench whoever winger, Antony, on the right, and push Bruno on the right, and then play Scott McTominay as a number 10 and Kobe Maino and Sofiane Amrabat as the two holding midfielders? Or is he going to sacrifice one of the two holding midfielders, probably Amrabat, and start Kobe Maino, or bench Kobe Maino and start Amrabat the way he did against Chelsea, accommodate Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay? It's an interesting headache for Eric Ten Hag to deal with. But the beauty is we are talking about a Bournemouth, not a Manchester City. It perhaps should be an easy win regardless which team he selects, because remember, if after Bournemouth we've got a crucial Bayern Munich game. Though for me, and I don't know what you think, but I'm one of those people who think Manchester United should intentionally surrender the Champions League this season because, I mean, what's the use of us competing in the Champions League? And of course, we want to play for our pride as Manchester United. We don't want to be ashamed and stay in the group. Don't make it out of the group. But I don't think anyone will be calling for the head of Eric Ten Hag because Man United did not make it out of the UEFA Champions League group. I feel like we need to concentrate more on the Premier League and re-strategize for the Champions League next season. If we do play well in the Premier League and manage to qualify for the Champions League next season, I think then we will be able to at least to demand for better performances in the Champions League from these boys. I think for me, the Champions League this season shouldn't be the thing for us to dwell on. Gone, it's done. And for United, if you're not going to reach the semi-final, final, or even win it, you're as good as not there, not competing in the Champions League. But us staying there, then we are going to be relegated to the Europa League. And then when we are relegated to the Europa League, then what? Then what happens in the Europa League? I feel for me, we've got to surrender the Champions League. I think we've got to surrender the Champions League. I think we need to concentrate more on the Premier League now and see how far we can go in the Premier League. Try to compete and stay compete for places in the Champions League next season, other than trying to divide our focus because we've got so many injuries in the team. Players are only returning some from injuries. We don't want to strain them playing these so many tough games that English teams have got to endure. Yet we are not going to gain anything, especially from the Champions League. So for me, my honest opinion is strategically, Eric Ten Hag and his team should be sitting in the boardroom and saying, you know what, let's just surrender this Champions League season. Yes, we are not going to go out there and just make it easy for Bayern to beat us because we've got our pride to play for at Old Trafford. But that's all. In terms of how far we can go in the Champions League, I don't have so much expectations. So that's why I think for me, we can surrender it and focus more on the Premier League. Now, that's the next game. So Bournemouth coming to Old Trafford. Now, there's good news because today Amad Diallo did train as well. Of course, he's available for selection. It has been confirmed he's available for selection against Bournemouth. And it's a good thing because, first of all, I would want to see every good young player we've got in the United team available for selection because these young players are clearly the future. And most of them have proved themselves. Now, for Amad Diallo, whereas we know what he's capable of, having seen what he did on loan at Sunderland, being involved in 16 goals, scoring, I think, 14 and assisting twice. I mean, 16 goal contributions for any player at any level. And by the way, the championship is tough, probably even tougher than the Premier League. Those battles there are rough. The second division leagues are always rough. So for this boy, Amad Diallo, to go out in there, he's a winger, but be able to score so many goals and contribute others, for me, it's a huge thing. So him returning, I think it's a good thing for us because it gives us a bit of time for us this December to see what he does and make a judgment on whether he should be loaned out again or whether we should be keeping him and making him part of the rotation of players, most especially in the right wing. Remember, he's left-footed and inverted. He does exactly what Antony does. I feel like he does it with more flair. He's more silky with it, but of course he's less mature. He's not yet at the level of Antony, but also Antony is improving. He's becoming the Antony we are hoping to see when we are signing him from Ajax. So there is a whole good vibe around Manchester United that you want to see, and I expect that against Bournemouth we should go all out, run riot, and obliterate them, leave them for dead. Just obliterate Bournemouth because they're at Old Trafford and we're at the right place. Our players are psyched. We are scoring goals. We've got a Kobe Maino in there because I want to see Kobe Maino start this game so that we see whether Maino and Amrabat, I want to see them start together to see whether they will probably solve what looks like the biggest problem for United. And the biggest problem for me is how we defend through the middle. We leave so many spaces in the middle when you don't have the ball. And whenever you play one holding midfielder, it's always going to be difficult. One holding midfielder doesn't work. Singular holding midfielder will not. It doesn't work. They will run over us, regardless of the opponent. It doesn't have to be Man City. So long as it's in the Premier League, even in the Champions League, most of the goals we've considered have come through the middle. So we've got to be more rigid, more solid in the middle. And for me to achieve that, we've got to be playing Amrabat together with Kobe Maino, two holding midfielders. When Casemiro returns, it should be Maino and Casemiro or whoever. But for me, the whole one holding midfield and fascination with with so many attackers does not work a lot for me. That's for me, you know. But I also give you my predicted 11 in a bit. Remember, we've got a crucial game. Every game for United counts now. There are no easy games in the Premier League, but for United, there are no easy games at all. So every game should count for us right now, and that's why we should be selecting our best team, be able to go and perform and outcompete, everyone, quite well. But you can also let me know what you think. There is talk that Marcus Rashford sustained got an illness and he might not be available for selection, which would be for me an opportunity for Ahmad Diallo. I expect him to get a few minutes, maybe not as a starter. Probably Anthony will start on the left, on the right rather, and Diallo will come in later as a substitute. I would love to see that. So for me, Rashford, whatever excuse Eric Ten Hag will have not to select Rashford, for me, I would support, because Rashford needs to be restarting now. It should have been. It was long overdue. It should have been done long time ago, but never less than never. He's on the bench now, and clearly we don't miss him. We saw the game against Chelsea, a big opponent. He was not in the game, and we are comfortably, bossing Chelsea. So there is no reason why we should be sad about the illness of Marcus Rashford. Whereas we like him. He gave us a good season last season. I honestly think he will have to befriend Harry Maguire a lot. Good enough, they are both English boys. They speak the same language. Harry Maguire has got to teach Marcus Rashford how to return to top form, because clearly he needs it. Otherwise, for me, Rashford is gone. I'm one of those who think, and this is no hate against Rashford, but I'm one of those who feel his best at United is done. And the best thing for United, for me, would be to sell him at the next available opportunity, because he's a player who can get us at least 100 million or 80 million in this crazy market these days. I think if we sell Rashford now, we could get somewhere close to 100 million for him, because other clubs, he can play football and succeed at other clubs. At United, with the coming of Rasmus Højlund, with Alejandro Garnacho's now being trusted and playing football for fun, scoring PlayStation goals, with Anthony picking himself up, with Amad Diallo returning, you don't see a safe space for Marcus Rashford. And unfortunately, he has been used to being the star of the team, being the one carrying the team, starting all games and contributing most of the goals. He scored 30 goals last season. If you're used to that and you lose it, it takes a special character for you to bounce back and be able to get back to the level. So, but football in the Premier League is too fast that you may not have that time. But also, will he have the patience and character to do what Harry Maguire did and return to those ways? It's a difficult thing that I don't see Marcus Rashford doing. But I also don't think we do badly need Rashford. Unless he's going to be transformed it into a winger who is going to be assisting, not going for goal, when you've got a striker in Rasmus Højlund and maybe Sahu Girassi, who could be joining in Jan. I don't think, for me, should be dwelling a lot on Marcus Rashford. Need money to sign a striker, a centre back, and maybe another more solid holding midfielder, or probably sign Sofian Amrabat permanently, because he's looking like he's improving. If he consistently does so, then we should be signing him. Should be the one we are signing. But I feel Marcus Rashford is one of those players who can give us some decent money for which we can buy 2 or 3 other players. So why not sell him now before he becomes a rotten tomato and that no one can want to offload you or help you get rid of. So for me, this is the time, and this is a problem that United has had for the longest time. We dwell so much on players who are gone, even when it's glaring that these players are done. We still hold on to them until they are no more, and then we get stuck with them. Remember, football now has got a financial fair play where you've got to sell players to buy. But if you stay with players who cannot be bought, players who are past their prime, players who are so bad, no one is going to pay for them. So you will be stuck with these players who have got long contracts probably, or who are earning huge wages, but there's no one to offload, to help you offload them. And then for me, that would be poor management of the business. And again, that was always the job of the CEO. And that's why the talk of Jean-Claude Blow coming at United is so important, because those are some of the things that he will change. That as a CEO, you've got to be making those decisions. Know when to sell a player, know when to let go of players so that you make way for others. So for me, I think it's definitely going to be a very important important window, the coming window. Probably not Jan, because in January not so many teams are selling or buying players, especially marquee signings. But in the summer, I want to see how Manchester United is going to deal with Marcus Rashford. Unless between now and then he becomes Rasmus Højlund's best playmate on the pitch, because Rashford's success for me entirely depends on how he teams up with Rasmus Højlund. He doesn't do it well, he won't play football, because where we are now, we're not going to choose Marcus Rashford over Højlund. That's why we signed him for so much money, yet he was not yet proven. So that's what I think, honestly. But going proper into that, Man United up against Bournemouth, get for you the fixtures. The bookmakers do give United a big chance. And by the way, at the end of this video, I'll probably be giving you some predictions for those of you who love to bet. I'll be giving you a few predictions to go and take some money and tell me tomorrow if it works. But the odds do favor Manchester United. Odd 1.61 for United to win, 4.68 for a draw, and 5.6 for a Bournemouth victory. So clearly that shows that Manchester United has got it's likely to win this one. But Erik ten Hag has put things right, and you feel the mood around the team. Even when I was watching the videos of the training, you felt like the mood around the team is good. I don't think, and I get it now when I think about how bitter Man United got with the stories that were linked by the Sky Sports team and these other journalists who are saying that Ten Hag has lost about 50% of the dressing room. I don't know how they counted the 50%, but I didn't seeing the game against Chelsea, which arguably is Man United's best played game this season. That did not look like a team that's not their manager. And I was so worried coming into that game, thinking if this is the case, then we are gone. Then we might have to go back into the talk of getting a new manager, sacking Ten Hag and getting a new manager, which probably is not talk that all of us would want to go back into. I mean, how many managers are we going to be sacking and sacking and sacking? We cannot be Chelsea. We cannot be a Chelsea just because we lost Sir Alex Ferguson and we're trying to rebuild. But for me, I think the dressing room is behind Erik ten Hag. I think when Erik ten Hag's football is right, it is actually good football. I think it works. I think the injuries had taken away a lot, but also everything that has been going on around the club has been disorganizing the manager and the players. But it seems like we are putting our house in order, and right now what is being done is trying to tame the team so that our dirty linen is not exposed, which is good, because then it will give the players focus, concentrate on their football. There is not so much noise coming from outside, because not so many people know what's going on internally, which is a good thing for the club if we are going to go out and compete. So for me, I think Ten Hag is in control. I think Ten Hag is in control of what is going on at Manchester United. I think let's not think about this whole talk of losing the dressing room. I don't think we are there. I don't think maybe a few players are not happy. Certainly, Rafael Varane will not be happy about him being benched in favor of Victor Lindelof. Obviously, Jadon Sancho will not be happy about being banished. Obviously, certain players will not be happy about how Jadon Sancho was treated. Obviously, they will not be happy because perhaps they are friends with him. They are more friends with him than they are with Ten Hag. But over time, they will get over it and understand that they are here to work. But that said, the biggest news from Manchester United today was Erik ten Hag winning the Manager of the Month, but also Alejandro Garnacho winning the award for the goal of the month. I think he will also win the Puskas award and also maybe the best goal in the history of the Premier League. If anything, like if it's there, if that award is there, I think this goal is up there with that goal from Dennis Bergkamp, one of the classics. This one was for really, so clearly deserved. And then of course Harry Maguire winning the award for the best player. I've been debating that and trying to debunk it and also try to water down his achievement. I will not be part of that. I will not do that. I think Maguire deserves it. He has put in all the hard yards. He has been working hard. He has been trying to get back here. Now that he has got it, I can't be the one coming here and say cheated for him and all. I mean, who should have? I think he deserved it. That's what I think. But in terms of predictions for tomorrow's game, first of all, the lineup, Erik ten Hag has got a huge challenge now to be rotating his team. Of course, Onana will not be rotated. He will be starting between the sticks. On the right, Diogo Dalot is in the mood. Against Bournemouth, maybe we can afford to bring in Wan-Bissaka. But for me, Diogo Dalot, like Cristiano Ronaldo kept saying, is one of those players who are improving. It can't be by coincidence. It can't be by mistake. It's because he's professional, arrives on time for training on time. He listens. You can see clearly that Diogo Dalot tries to improve in certain areas. Maybe he's not. He can lose his man a bit. He can drop he can drop concentration. I think one of the biggest issues I had with Diogo Dalot at some point was his lack of concentration when he's on the pitch. And I was here at some point saying that that was not for a player at this elite level. You don't lose concentration. I remember sometime when Bruno Fernandes started a free kick to him and he was not aware. He was not ready for the ball. He was shocked by it. But I think now he has improved a lot and you love to see it. So Diogo Dalot for me is an obvious start on the right ahead of Wan-Bissaka because of his crosses that are accurate, the way he's teaming up with these guys up front, our strikers. His overlaps are good. I think for me, Diogo Dalot is the first priority now for a right back. He has surpassed Wan-Bissaka for now. Then on the left, I do want to see what Erik ten Hag will do. I think Sergio Reguilon, when he came on, he looked good. I don't know whether Erik ten Hag will trust him to start him. If he did, I wouldn't mind. Reguilon can start on the left. Luke Shaw plays the left-hand side of the central defense because Erik ten Hag wants a left player playing there. So if Martinez is not there, so Luke Shaw can play there with Harry Maguire. Then Kobbie Mainoo and Sofiane Amrabat. I'm excited to see those two start a game together, and we see what they do. Then Bruno as a number 10. Scott McTominay can be rested to rotate him for maybe Bayern Munich. Rest him for this one. Or try out something new. Try Scott McTominay as a number 10 and put rest Bruno. Let him come for the Bayern game. Let's see how Scott McTominay looks as a number 10 when he starts in there. And then, of course, Rasmus Højlund up top, Garnacho on the left, Anthony on the right. Or it's Bournemouth. If you think you can beat them easily, start Ahmad if you want to. He's fit enough. But usually when a player is coming from injury, it's difficult for them to beat games like. But for me, of course, Anthony, if a rotation is not what Erik ten Hag has got in mind, of course, that depends on how much interest Manchester United has got in Champions League. For me, shouldn't be focusing a lot on the Champions League now. That's for me my honest take. Should be focused on the Premier League and think about the Champions League next season. So let's concentrate on the competition that will get us in the Champions League next season, and that's the Premier League. So for me, that's where most of our energy should be as Manchester United. That's my honest opinion. You can tell me what you think. But guys, for those of you who love betting, yes, I do want to give you some games for you to go and bet on. You love betting. I will give you a few games for the weekend to go and place your stake. Quite a number of games that are there this weekend. So many games. Wow, so many games, interesting games. There is a lot of money for you. There is a lot of money for you to win. There's a big one, Aston Villa up against Arsenal. Usually, most of these Premier League games for me, I do not usually want to go for a particular team winning. I usually want to play safe and go around them. That's what I do times. And that's what I would advise you to do. Instead of going, say, for an Arsenal win, rather go for both teams to score. Arsenal is playing against Aston Villa. Instead of an Arsenal win, both teams to score. What I would advise you to do. Yeah. See? Let's see. I just want some interesting games for you to go bet on. The Man United game against Bournemouth, I think that's an obvious win for Man. I think we'll win that one easily. Be a walk in the park. Oh, why is this? I think that would be the easiest win for Man United this. And not that I'm undermining Bournemouth. Erik ten Hag was saying they're a good team. They are organized and all. Yeah, they are, but I still think we'll beat them easily. My prediction of that Man United both teams to score over 1.5. For those of you who are into betting, you know what I mean. We shall concede, I think. Will be over 1.5. Expect a couple of goals. United will trying to get for you. Get to play. Check. Win. Those of you who are into right display. I'll get back to that. Get to the game. Anyway, so another thing I did want to talk about tonight is so the other thing I want to talk about is the January transfer window. Remember, it's not so far away from us, and again, as always, we've been linked to so many players as Man United. We are certainly a club that will always make make all the headlines during the transfer window, because we obviously have a lot of money, and that's one. We always have a lot of money to spend on players, but also we have, I think, a lot of areas to improve. Now, after seeing how Manchester United has been looking the past games, I get the feeling we actually might not want to rush so much into signing so many players in Jan. If anything, I think we might first want to calm down and properly assess this team and how we look this January, how we perform, of course, this December, because December has so many games. How do we perform in December in these so many games? And then from there, we make a proper assessment of what departments we want to improve, but also as we do hope to get the right players, because in January, honestly, there are not so many good world-class players. And we don't want again to gamble on third priorities, other clubs. Well, we want to sign the right players for you. So if we rush, we'll get the wrong players. But it turns out we're actually not looking as bad as we are made to think we were. I think we've got a few areas to improve. We need to, for example, get striker to back up Rasmus Højlund. That's a given. We've spoken of a solid centre back. We do need one. We can get Todibo in Jan. That's okay. Because Luke Shaw will not be playing centre back all through. But also, we cannot rely on the fitness of Sandro Martinez. And also, maybe we have not really fully got the confidence in Harry Maguire. So we definitely need a centre back who is a lot younger, by the way, who is not 30. So, and we need to sell Varane and all. So for me, I think the January transfer window, we should focus more on selling. Which players are we going to sell, if any? Saudi, get some money, and then we make a proper judgment of who we want to sign. We want to sign a holding midfielder because we get issues. The issues we get when we don't have the ball. For me, the issues we get are usually not because, for me, they are not because maybe we lack the players to defend in the middle. I think because it's more it goes down to the selection. I think Erik ten Hag's fascination with the one holding midfielder and so many attack-minded players is causing problems in terms of how we leak in goals. I do want to see him try out two holding midfielders. So if that works, then we might not actually need to rush into signing a holding midfielder in Jan. We might stick to our Amrabat, give him time, and see what happens at the end of the season because his loan spell runs out at the end of the season anyway. So let's wait and see how Amrabat performs because at least he's looking improved now. And we know he's a good footballer. So when he improves, he can be, and he's young. He's only 26, 27. So for me, the January transfer window, I believe, is not one we should rush into. I don't think we should rush into it. I think we should give it time. I think we should try to be patient so that we get the right players because whenever we've rushed, we've ended up getting wrong players who don't make it. So for me, yes, we can do some business in Jan, but the first guaranteed business I would want us to do in Jan is to sign Tahu Girassi. That's the striker from VfB Stuttgart. He's too cheap that even if it doesn't work, we wouldn't feel bad about spending 15 million pounds on a striker to back up Rasmus Højlund. For me, I actually have a lot of belief in him. In fact, if anything, I think if Tahu Girassi joined Manchester United, he could actually bench Rasmus Højlund. I think he has got the attributes to become a world-class striker. I actually think so. Yes, because he does score the goals and he's so comfortable on the ball. It's a good thing to see. So in January, for me, the two signings I think we could make, maybe the striker and Todibo, centre back. That is all. If we make those, for me, that would look like a decent January transfer window. Then we wait for the summer where we would offload so many. These Casemiros, Rafael Varane, Marcus Rashford, name them. We would offload them one after the other. Even Scott McTominay is scoring goals, but if we get a team a club that gives us good money, I think we can do away with it. He won't score those goals for so long. He won't be scoring those goals forever. These goals are just helping us in our survival mode. But by and large, as a player, really, he's not world class. We want to have world class players around world class people like Kobe Maino. So for me, I do think, honestly, we've got to make those decisions. We've got to sell players. The toughest decision to make, and I think that will be the first test of character because it is believed that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will come in for Christmas. Today is 8th. So Christmas is 16 days away. Yeah. So in 16 days, in less than 16 days, it is believed that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be home and dry. Now, when he comes, I want to see what decisions he makes when it comes to selling and buying of players because, anyway, that is his docket. Football matters and belong to him. I want to see what will happen. I hope he does make use of his powers of a niche to give us Todibo. That will be a huge win for him. But also, you want him to come and, maybe in the summer, sign an unexpected big name player just to, shake things up a bit to announce his arrival. But that said, I think we've got, I think we are in a good place as Man United. Let me give you the predictions. All these other games, the Friday, and I know most of you do want to go out. It's 11:30, and I started a little earlier, so 2 minutes I'll be winding this up. So Crystal Palace, the Premier League, is playing Liverpool. I think both teams will score in this one. Brighton up against Burnley. Brighton is at home. Brighton will win this one. Man United, Bournemouth, I thought that will be a win. We'll need both teams to score, but United victory. Sheffield United up against Brent. Yeah, that's a tough one. Stay away from that. Wolves up against Nottingham. Stay away from that. Aston Villa up against Arsenal. Both teams will score. An interesting game. Arsenal might get beat. They are hard, but I think it will be 1x. Aston Villa win or a draw. Arsenal won't win. Villa Park. The other leagues, which other games are there? I'm seeing Montpellier up against Law. That's going on now. It's still goalless. I think it will end. It will be a low scoring game. And okay, let me see which other good games are there. Seeing Almere City up against AZ Alkmaar. Dutch Eredivisie. Just give you one game. Zira is at Raz. Love guarding your teams. That can be a good one next. Oh, if you want to go all out, I think Zira will win it at Ijan. Zira is at home against Raz. The odd for Zira winning at home, I think they will get draw. So 1x will be VIP. Yeah, some bit of Arab money. By the way, every Friday the Friday show will be a betting show. It will be happening at 8 p.m. So just mark that if you do love betting, I will give you some tips on how to bet and, but also protect your money. Not just Man United talk. Friday at 8 p.m. we'll be giving you some games for the weekend to go and place your stake on so that you also enjoy Man United as you do make some money if you love betting. So that's one of the things we will be starting. But just to remind you, the live shows are back every day. I will be live. The one guaranteed one will be in weekdays, Monday to Thursday. That will be at 10 p.m. Fridays it's at 11. Yes, today I started a little earlier, but Fridays will be at 11 and at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. will be the betting show. 11 will be the normal show. Then Monday to Thursday is 10 p.m. because you're still working. You need to go and of course rest and go to work. So 10 p.m. on Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. on Friday. 8 p.m. is the betting show. If you love betting, I'll be giving you some betting tips. Some people here call me Arab Money. Those who know me know how I be when it comes to betting. And then the 11 p.m. on Friday will be the normal show. Of course, in between there, during day, I'll be giving you some lives as well in the afternoon. So yeah, morning, afternoon, evening. So it's going to be a whole jam-packed action hotspot now going forward, because right now we do have the time. We do have all the time to give it to you. I just had a few technical issues. That's why I had stopped. But I am back, guys, like I never left. I do hope technical issues don't disturb me again. But yeah, we'll get slowly but surely. As you do, guys, keep giving me those super chats, super thanks. We'll be getting the money to improve, get a better set, better camera, better lights, better computers, better sound, everything. We keep improving slowly but surely. But we'll grow together. Thank you so much for subscribing to the hotspot. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm going to leave you for now. I'm going to first leave you for now. Of course, I'll drop my video in a few hours. One more video I've got for you before I retire. But of course, tomorrow morning, I'll be coming your way live in the morning with a morning show, giving you a new, of course, update on what could be happening with United, because every minute, every second, there is news concerning Manchester United. So tomorrow morning, afternoon, and evening, I will be here to give it to you. My name is Webb. This is the Hotspot. Catch you later, fam. Love you. One love. Sorry, we went off at first. We are building. The audience went off. We're back, but don't worry. Next time better. Thank you. Subscribe. Catch you later.